Hello, my name is Makai, and thank you for coming to my channel. You obviously came, you're here. Um, I actually just decided to make this video on a whim because I don't know if y'all been seeing, but John Morant just can't stay at the tabloids. He in the news, he everywhere, and it's like every time I see it, I be in my head like, what's the astrology behind this? Like, what is going on with this? Like, what's up? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? And when I looked into the astrology, I was seeing like, damn, like the media is really set up to be against him based on the astrology. And in real life, I'm seeing that shit play out. But I still got to talk about it. I still got to talk about it. But I'm not going to talk about all the negative shit about him. I'm also going to talk about like the positive aspects of him as well, because he has a lot of positivity in his chart. But I also see like some big indicators of like why he be acting the way he do. So with that being said, I'm just gonna kind of go over his birth chart. I'm not an astrologer. I just really, really like astrology, and I've been studying for maybe like 2 years now. My friend Alex put me on. Um, and at first I didn't really like I only knew about sun signs and shit. But now when I really got locked in, I was like, wow, this shit is really like I see why astrologers are paid because they can dead ass predict events of the world. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so I can show y'all his birth chart. 1 second. All right. So John Morant was born August 10th, 1999 at 7 p.m. in Dalzell, South Carolina. Um, Yeah, I don't know if the birth time is completely accurate, but I hope so. So we're gonna go ahead and look at his chart. Offer it seventh house stellium, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus, as well as his North Node and vertex is in the seventh house. So he's a Leo. Offer it fixed sign, very stubborn. Leos also do have very good qualities about them. They're the sign of creative expression and they're ruled by the sun. So ultimately, wherever a Leo goes, you know what I'm saying? They're getting that motherfucking attention, period. That's just it. That's just how it goes. And he's like that. Like anytime John Morant step in the room, anytime John Morant do some crazy shit, y'all seeing John Morant down y'all timeline for the next 3 days. The bitches love him. He's Mr. Bitches for real. So like once I seen that he was a Leo, I was like, yeah, he definitely give mad Leo. But anyways, it's at the 17th degree. So 17th degree is a critical degree, and anywhere where critical degrees or anaretic degrees are placed is usually going to be a little bit of a challenge with that part of your chart or whatever planet that may lay on. So with his sun being at the 17th degree, that could also signify somebody who may have like a little bit of trouble figuring out who the fuck they are, like their ego, the way that they approach life, like somebody who may just have a tiny bit of trouble actually finding some direction in terms of that. I also have some notes here, so hold on, I'm gonna pull up my phone. Give me a second. Okay. So another thing that I peeped is that his moon is in his seventh house. And I have a moon in my seventh house, right? So with the moon in the seventh house is the house of partnerships, the house of marriage. It's also the house of like business contracts, business partnerships. It's the house of the masses. So masses of people like Zendaya, for example, she's a seventh house sun. So she's bitch, I know who Zendaya is. You know who she is. You feel what I'm saying? So like that's kind of like what seventh house, especially a lot of seventh house energy gives, because it has the potential to gain masses. But it's in the seventh house. His moon is in the seventh house. So with people who have the moon in the seventh house, there's kind of this codependency on your relationships because the moon is the emotions, right? It's your feelings, it's what makes you feel safe and things like that. The seventh house is your partnerships or relationships and things like that. So a lot of people with moon in the seventh house tend to be very codependent on people that they have built a strong emotional attachment to. And I see a lot of that because what I'm noticing is that I don't really feel like it's him. I feel like it's the people around him, bro. Like I feel like he probably got some homeboys that he grew up with that he just won't fucking let go because they just got that emotional attachment. Like he's the homeboy that made it, and now he's catering to the people around him, but he just need to let the motherfuckers go. But that seventh house moon, it definitely can indicate somebody who's very codependent on their relationships, somebody who is really hard. It's really hard for them to let it go, especially in Leo, which is a fixed sign, stubborn. Leos love hard as fuck. I don't know a Leo that wouldn't, let me not say wouldn't fuck their ex, because a lot of Leos wouldn't fuck their ex. But Leos, like, them the motherfuckers that you fall in love with and they be like, I still love you even though you ripped my mother's hair out. Like, that be Leos. And he just gives that energy. So he also has Mercury in the seventh house. So he kind of desires to be around people who are a little bit more like, or he like is attracted to people who may be a little bit more intellectual, which is crazy to me because he be like around the motherfuckers. But his Mercury is in Cancer and it's at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees. Now, remember what I said, any critical degree or anaretic degree can automatically have, it's gonna be funky, you feel me? So with the 29th degree, it's actually a very good degree. It's a degree that can accomplish some greatness in their lifetime. But it's also, wherever it's placed, it's gonna be a challenge there. His shit is in Mercury. Mercury is the planet of thinking and communicating, bro. Like, the way that he thinks and communicates, or the way that he thinks, at least to me right now, it just kind of shows me like directionless a little bit. And with some of his aspects, it'll kind of get into that. But continuing on, uh, one second. I also noticed, I'm just kind of skipping around here from what I see, but his Mars is in his 10th house. And Mars in the 10th house is kind of like, you're very enthusiastic and you're very ambitious and you can accomplish a lot in the workplace. But with Mars being that planet of aggression, it can also signify somebody who may have some type of issues in the workplace, like issues with authority. That's a big thing that I'm seeing in his chart, right? Chiron in the 10th house as well. So Chiron, wherever Chiron is placed, it's kind of like a wound in your chart, right? It's kind of like a place where you just need to fix it. Like, my Chiron's in my 6th house, so I need to fix routines. Like, routines is just shitty to me. You feel what I'm saying? So his Chiron is in his 10th house. Now, the way that Chiron in the 10th house kind of behaves is like, I can achieve and accomplish everything I was meant to put here to do, but y'all still gonna find every single thing wrong with everything that I do. And I get that vibe a lot because now, Ja be wildin', gotta hold him accountable. But I feel like because he's so successful, especially with that Leo envy, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but Leo envy is really fucking real. Especially with just him being a limelight and being as talented as he is, and niggas, him coming in the game and showing niggas shit that they ain't never really seen before. You feel what I'm saying? Niggas is haters. Like, that is what Chiron in the 10th house gives. It gives, no matter what you accomplish, you're still bullshit because you over here bullshitting. Does that make sense? I hope so. Um so there were some other things that I noticed that were very important. Oh yeah, let's talk about it. So he has Neptune in the first house, right? Neptune is it's in Aquarius, which is fixed, right? And it's also at a Taurus degree, which is also fixed. Now, the second degree is a very, very good degree in the chart. It can signify somebody who can be very wealthy. It can signify somebody who's very used to the finer things in the luxury of life. You know, Taurus is ruled by Venus. But with Neptune being in the first house, that planet in itself, anytime an astrologer or somebody who studies astrology is looking at somebody's chart and they want to see the fucked up shit about you, they're going to immediately go to Neptune. And I'm going to tell you why. Neptune deals with addictions. It deals with institutions, jail, rehabilitation. It also deals with boundaries. A lot of, wherever you have Neptune placed in your chart, 9 times out of 10 is boundless. It's really hard for you to have fucking boundaries there. Neptune is in my 7th house, for example, and it's really, really, really hard for me to set boundaries in relationships and stand on them. Like, I could set them, but I can't stand on them. So with Neptune in that first house, that is also a signifier of abuse in a birth chart. And it can also be somebody who is very, very easily influenced by the people around them, extremely influenced by the people around them, extremely susceptible to spiritual attacks from the people around him, just by kind of taking in that negative energy, because the first house is your house of self. It's the house of ego. You get what I'm saying? So with it being that first house being so fucking open, it's like it kind of gives the same vibes of those seventh house moon, like you my nigga, so I'm gonna do it. You feel what I'm saying? I trust your word because you my nigga, so I'm gonna do it. Like very easily influential type shit. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, I see that a lot. A lot. I think with his chart, it kind of shows that his life path is really supposed to be um to find fucking love and to figure out these business contracts and all this extra shit with all this seventh house energy. But ultimately, there was something else I wanted to touch on, but I didn't get a chance to. Give me 1 second. I'm going back to this video. Yeah. So another thing that I did want to touch on is the fact that he has his Saturn in his fourth house, right? So Saturn is a malefic planet. Wherever the fuck it's put, it's gonna be some like it's giving ugly duckling vibes wherever the fuck it goes. You feel me? So with Saturn being in the fourth house, it can signify that there may be some type of complicated in relationship with the mom. That is a possibility. It can also signify hard times, financial crisis, adverse conditions, and it can signify somebody who can be self-destructed to their own fault. So that was definitely something I felt like I need to add in there. They can also signify somebody who's had a rough childhood. And granted, athletes are so fucking private. I was trying to find some shit about this nigga upbringing, but I couldn't find a goddamn thing. So I don't know how he was brought up. I'm not gonna speak on that, but the placement could signify a hard upbringing. Now, his Saturn is square Uranus, and this aspect is responsible for people who either have a very, very strict set of principles that they stand on and they don't stop, or who just has no set of principles at all and who just become kind of fucking vibing on life. Uranus is like this unconventional energy. It's like the trendsetter. It's like Aquarius. You feel me? Like just vibing, and it's like Saturn is not Saturn is discipline. Saturn is hard work gets the rewards at the end. So with Saturn square Uranus, it could kind of be somebody who just like got a larger than life type vibe. Like it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like shit gonna find me. I don't gotta find shit. Yeah, so also has his Jupiter in the third house, and it is squaring his Mercury. Now, the third house is the house of communication. It's also the house of like neighbors and a whole bunch of other shit. But wherever Jupiter touches, it just kind of like enlarges that shit, right? So his Jupiter is squaring his Mercury in the seventh house of Cancer, and that can definitely signify somebody who is very selfish, very self-entitled, very larger than life personality, very like not really strategic in what they're doing. Like they just want to do shit just to do it, but they don't really like have any direction. And it can also signify somebody who is just like bad at communicating. Like bad at communicating. Like, you know, the niggas who be bad at communicating and they can't communicate, so they just like, yeah, like that's present. His Mars opposition his Saturn. So these are people who can kind of like get really excited and start some shit and just not have the will to finish it or see it through. And I feel like this is my perspective. I cannot apply this to his real life because I don't know that man. But it just kind of looks like Ja had a dream to get into the NBA, but he never had a plan to get into the NBA. Like it looks like he had that dream and he got his dream and he just like, you feel what I'm saying? And it's kind of concerning, I guess. But he also has his Mars square Uranus. So this is kind of responsible for people who are eccentric, individualistic, and can be very, very independent. Um, but they often have mood swings and you know what I'm saying? They make considerable changes to establish order in their life. So who knows how that could relate, but um let me see if there's something else. Oh, Jupiter is square his Neptune. What, and once again, whatever Jupiter touches, it enlarges, right? So with Neptune, the energy of that boundless energy, as well as addictions, institutions, jail, all that extra shit, like Jupiter touching Neptune, You know what I'm saying? It just accentuates that. It just makes it. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope you do. So yeah. And then his ascendant is conjunct his Neptune. So that means that it just accentuates that Neptunian energy more. And don't get me wrong, Neptune has the potential to bring you uh to spiritual heights, to psychic revelations that you would have never thought. So Neptune is not all bad, but Neptune can get really bad if it's not catered to the correct way. So there's a lot more aspects. I could really make this a long ass video. And I really didn't get into the positivity of it, but I just wanted to touch on Ja Morant's birth chart and like why he be acting like that. Honestly, it's a lot of signifies in his chart that he's just like he has problems with authority, number one. And he just kind of got this larger than life attitude, like you're gonna have to catch me and then we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I want Ja to win. Like, I really, really, really want that dude to win because everybody don't want him to win. But it seems like I want Ja to win more than he wants to win. So we'll see. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe. I'm gonna do a couple more of these because I'll be bored. So and thank you so much for watching. Bye.